Oh, man. All right. Well, we just did our top 5 takeaways of beach horror movies. Thank you guys for joining in for that. That was a lot of fun. And we're going to get to a very special time. It's review time, people. That's right. We're going to be doing our reviews of The Watchers and the new documentary by Andrew McCarthy, Brats. That's right. Let's start with the movie I know. All right, The Watchers. So to talk about it just a little bit, it was directed by Ashana Night Shyamalan, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. It was also produced by M. Night Shyamalan. This is her directorial debut. It's based on a book. I think it's A.I. Smiley or something. I believe that's his name. Who wrote the book of it. There are some differences in the book. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but I did look through some notes on it and such. So because I wanted to see what the differences of the whole book was versus the movie. It follows a young woman named Nina who gets sent. She's in Ireland. She's an American immigrant in Ireland, played by Dakota Fanning, is sent to deliver a bird out in the country of, the western side of Ireland or whatever, in the forest. She gets trapped in the forest when her car breaks down, and she has to find some safety in a weird bunker with a window, and there's three other people in there, and the Watchers are watching them through the window, and it's just there's not much more to say about it.
No,
I've lost steam halfway through it. Like, I'm trying to, I will say this. I'm not going to completely trash the movie, and I want to go through what everybody thinks about it. But I just want to say some good things that I want to highlight about this movie. The atmosphere is fantastic. The acting was I'm not. So the atmosphere is fantastic. Camera work was really good. I like the forest setting. A lot of it leaves questions and is very odd. Even the art direction of it just seems weird and out of place in certain times. Now I'm getting into the negatives. So for me, it just was a miss. It just wasn't that good of a story. The characters didn't really seem to know how to play them at any different time, except for the older woman, but she had to remain, and I'm not gonna tell you why, but she had to remain the way she acted the entire time. It's just part of it. This is part of the story. So it just is what it is. Everything else, it just seemed like the characters made odd choices throughout, and it just seemed very weird. But you know what? Let's Paul, what did you think about the movie? Let's go with you first.
I was hoping, with it being M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, that she'd be picking up her dad's, good habits, and she did not.
No. It's her
I'm not gonna
directorial
lie,
debut, though.
And
I'm not ready to judge her on that, because if I'm going to judge her on that, then it looks like a really good film, and that's going to earn you a lot of points in my book.
Visually, it looks okay. So. The folklore almost had you, but they dropped the ball in everything else. I'm not one to try to figure out what's going on in a movie. I try to purposely play dumb. So I'm surprised at that. And I figured out what was going on in the first 15 minutes of this movie. So that ruined it for me. This is something I would watch at 12 years old and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. I would take a date there just to make out with her in the back row and kill time. This isn't even one I would even suggest to stream. I think just one you could just skip.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't, Dakota Fanning did okay as far as the acting, but I just thought that all the semi cool things they had going for this, they'd find a way to kind of ruin it and just make it boring. I was constantly looking at my phone, seeing what time it was, just to see how much was left that I had to endure. So I didn't care for this at all. And I don't have any high hopes for her, unfortunately, from here on out. I hope she surprises me, but
I think I always try to give the benefit of the doubt. First movie, let's see what happens next. It sucks that your first movie sucks.
Yeah, but your dad did so good. Sixth Sense was fucking amazing. So
it was not. I'm going to argue that. It was a pretty good movie. It's just okay. I realize why you like it, and I respect why you like it. I'm not really so much arguing with you, because we've had in-depth talks about The Sixth Sense. So I realize where you're coming from when you say it, but at the same time, I hard hard disagree with the generalism of it being such a great, phenomenal film, because I realized why it was great for you and you really loved it. But for the masses, it was the ending. It really was. And then there's maybe 2 other scenes that are gonna be like, oh yeah, well, I really like this too. It's like, no, you like the ending. It tricked you, and it flooded the airwaves, and everybody was talking about that movie, and that's what everybody loved about it. It's a good movie. Right. It had a really good twist. Right. That's what, if it didn't have that twist, none of you would be talking about this movie today. You would be talking about that movie like we're going to talk about this movie in 20 years. Right. So, and our poor third mic has not even had a chance to say anything about it.
Sorry, Sturdy.
No, you're good, because I watched this movie when it came out, and it's not memorable.
No.
It doesn't stand out. I feel like it was just one of those things that just kind of happened. It's like going out one night, you had a night, and you black out, you just forget the whole night. But it wasn't like one of those nights where anything cool happened, or your friends are like, yo, last night, man, you did a backflip, this, that, and the third. It's like, yo, you just blacked out and went to sleep. That was it.
Yeah.
And that's basically what this was to me. I mean, like you were saying, the visuals were nice, but other than that, the story was boring.
None of it made sense either. Like there's so certain changes in the book that really bugged me about it was they took the bird's not really in the book, and the bird isn't what's getting them out. They had a compass in the book, so they really just switched for a natural thing rather than the logical step of like, here's a map, here's a compass, there's the boat, go at this time, here's the plan. No, we have to add a bird because it adds an element of loving nature and showing that, and it just doesn't. You're adding bullshit because they're going to keep up with that bird. That bird's just going to happen to stay ahead of them. That thing's gone, just like every other freaking bird.
Don't worry.
Like it's gone, and you're going to be stuck in the forest. Whatever. It was just a really drab, stupid movie that doesn't really make too much sense, because you cannot put the big shelter that he created in underground or this thing with all of these watchers there. And I realized they tried to talk it away, like, oh, I hired people to come in and then they would get killed at night, and then I would hire more people to go in and finish a job. It doesn't sustain itself. That doesn't sustain. You can't do it. By the time that work got done every day, that would take years to develop what he built.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me you hire like 12 to 13 men a day, every day for years in Ireland, on a island with a limited amount of people in its population. You would have went through the entirety of Ireland.
Yeah.
It's like there would be people would think there's a famine. That's it. That's what would happen. Now it would have been cool if maybe you made a deal with the watchers and said, I'll bring these people in, you can copy them and kill them. Yeah. And then you copy them, and then like maybe I'll usher you out, but it still wouldn't have made sense to the stupid. None of it works. All right, let's move on. I'm done. Oh, let's give our ratings. We didn't even give a rating. I gave it a 1. They gave it a 0.5 point. This movie is just not there. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna tell you not to watch it. Watch it. If you love it, go ahead.
Yeah, watch your own risk.
Yeah, that's your thing. It was not an effective movie in my opinion. By any means. All right. Brats. The quintessential Brat Pack documentary. And it was directed by Andrew McCarthy, and this was his journey into meeting with members from the Brat Pack and who worked on those movies, and the journalist who coined the phrase in his article about them, and so much more. And it seemed like it was Andrew McCarthy's journey to kind of take down the Brat Pack moniker. He really does not like that moniker. He had such a chip on his shoulder throughout this whole documentary. I wrote a full-length review on it. You can go check it out. I'm starting to get back into my writing, so like it's starting to get better and better. And also, I'm using a great new editor tool, which is so much fun. Yeah. It just helps with able to get the grammatical side of down. I got to tell you, this movie was a really poor excuse for a documentary, in my opinion. What did you think, Paul?
So I just felt like it was McCarthy just kind of wanting to show that he was still bitter about things, and just for him to let, I guess, all of us know how he still felt about, I guess, the Brat Pack.
It did seem like a desperate attempt to try and get everybody else angry about it too.
Yeah, and I think if I got anything from this whole thing, because it was rather long as far as documentary goes, I just thought. I always thought they all hung out together all the time, like they were all friends and stuff, and then realizing that besides that, like a couple of them that actually kind of hung out, you know, most of them were like, no, unless we were on movie sets, you know, we weren't together. And I assumed like they all hung out 24/7, and that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it kind of ruined the allure of all those movies, because I always, you know, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, you know, after Breakfast Club, you know, I bet they went to, you know, I don't know, like IHOP or somewhere like that and hung out and were best friends. And then now it's like, oh no, you guys just separated and no one really kept up with anyone. That sucks.
And well, and to add to it too, like the fact that, yeah, I mean, they didn't, like, adding to what you're saying, in that they didn't really even know each other, because that article that was written was about Emilio Estevez and his upcoming rise, and the Breakfast Club had just come out, and he had other stuff coming. So the reporter followed him and his friends around, and some of them were interacting. Like, he would see Rob Lowe, or he'd see, and so like he would see these people out. But with St. Elmo's Fire coming out, all of those were like the quintessential Brat Pack, you know, stars of the moment. So that was like, if the Brat Pack moniker didn't exist, they would not have the stardom at the time. I truly believe that. And it's evident in the fact that, and I'm not knocking anyone, because some of them were not as strong of actors as I think some like to believe. You know, they were fine in the movies they were in, but they weren't as strong of actors. And it's seen in the fact that the careers didn't really carry over. You know, like, you know, Emilio Estevez not acting anymore is more because he's directing. You know, he doesn't like the limelight. He doesn't really like doing that, you know, but he just stayed out of it. He didn't get mad and make a documentary about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just like, whatever. And I loved even his take on it, and saying, like, he's like, it was the past, Andrew. You just got to let it go, man. And like, everyone was saying that to him, just like, let it go. And I loved Rob Lowe in this. I thought Rob Lowe really put it perfectly.
Yeah.
But you just finished it, Sturdy.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your take fresh off.
Honestly, I agree with both of what you guys said. And I'm watching it with my wife. She was pointing out a lot of things you guys were saying about him just kind of whining and complaining the whole time. And I'm like, I think it's a dope thing. Like, the whole Brat Pack moniker and all that. Like, you may have been annoyed with it back in the day, but I'm like, people, when you mention the Brat Pack, people of a certain age know what that is. Or just, I won't even say, I'll say just people that are real film fans. A lot of film fans will know what that is, no matter what age at some certain point. And that's something that's dope, because like you're saying, some of them aren't as strong of actors. So it's like, you look up the Brat Pack, you go look up these movies, you're going to watch all those movies with every single one of those actors in these movies. And he's over here talking about just like complaining the whole time. Like you were saying, everybody's like, just let it go. Some are even saying, I took it as positive. I mean, look at the limelight it brought us back in the day, and people still remember us now. That alone is huge. That alone is huge, because there's a lot. Just think of everybody. Just think of the other actors, young actors that weren't in that group, that weren't that popular, of that group of actors that were acting around that same time, that nobody knows who they are right now.
Well, even to argue that point a little bit further about this, look at how many they had in there that are actually bigger than them and not in the Brat Pack now. Leah Thompson was in there, and you still know her, and she's still directing a lot. You know, so like, she just directed a few episodes of Picard, and I'm sure she's done more since then. So like, yeah. So I forget who else they talked to that wasn't in the. John Cryer had an amazing career with 2.5 Men, and he played Lex Luthor on Supergirl. So like, and then you have Rob Lowe, who, like, it seems like the ones who wanted to be in the Brat Pack, they were like, we wanted that. We would have loved to have been in the Brat Pack, but we were like adjacent, led good careers. Yeah. And then you have Rob Lowe, who embraced the hell out of it, right? And he back then, he was really just considered the pretty boy. He wasn't really considered like this great be-all, end-all actor. Now look at his career. He's very prevalent in today's world. He was probably the biggest star today that they had in that movie, and that probably hurts him. But like Parks and Rec, Brothers and Sisters, you know, like all the stuff that he did. So it's something like that to watch. Like, it's really telling. I like Andrew McCarthy. I like Molly Ringwald. I like Judd Nelson. I like Emilio Estevez. That whole crew, but their careers, other than Emilio Estevez, I'm taking him out, but like I said, he just directs now and doesn't like to be attached to it. The other ones, you know, Andrew McCarthy was probably, no, actually, Judd Nelson was a pretty damn good actor, but he just didn't like that type of, it seemed like he didn't like that type of fame.
Yeah.
And they all kind of went away.
Yeah.
Anthony Michael Hall, who didn't get mentioned or name checked or anything in the damn thing, is probably one of the bigger ones out of it, you know? And it's so crazy to me that like this just, it missed the mark, in my opinion. It's like, you could have really, if somebody with a passion and love for the Brat Pack,
I was going to say the same thing,
could have sat down and somehow pulled everybody together, or not everybody together, but one-on-one, like kind of like he did, to talk about it and really get in depth. But even Andrew McCarthy sitting down with the reporter at the end, it felt entitled and shitty.
Yeah,
and
wanting that apology and all that. Yeah.
Don't you think you should apologize for that? And he's like, no, I don't. Like, and I loved every answer that journalist gave. I was like,
yeah,
perfect. That's integrity. Like, what you're doing, Andrew McCarthy, isn't integrity. You're trying to jump on something here, and it's not working. And then, like, right after that didn't work, you notice the tone changed.
Yep.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, I guess we love it. But he still looked pissed every time he was like they were laughing or talking. He still looked angry
because he still is.
Yeah,
he still is. He has to just certain things in life you got to let go, people. You really got to just let it go. There's no point in just beating yourself up over it. And again, with something like that, in my opinion, I see it being a positive thing as far as just being a part of that group and still being a part of that group and being remembered a part of that group. Why not? It's going to make people go back and watch those films. Isn't that what you want at the end of the day? You want people to go back and watch. If you're an actor if you're an actor, don't you want people to go back and watch your films? Mm-hmm. Especially at like that high point.
You know what made me laugh too is when this clearly, it seems like if it was real, I'm sorry, it seemed just too stupidly, awkwardly scripted to be real. But the moment where Emilio Estevez is like, we have to clear the air on some things, and it gets real tense. And then that's the only part where Emilio Estevez talked where I was like, this feels like he was made to say this. Everything else, it felt genuine, it felt natural. That's the only part where it felt awkward and it was like forced. And that was when he was saying to him, he's like, we were both up for these roles in this movie. And it was a movie they name checked. And I'm like, it was never made.
Right.
I was like, so you're telling me that this is an amazing script that caused a rift between you two possibly working together, friendship. And yeah, Emilio Estevez didn't want him on the movie because he didn't want to be associated with Brat Pack at the time. Fine. He was the bigger star. Sorry, Andrew. Bye. Mm-hmm. And you have to clear that air 40 years later for a movie that never got made. That's why I was like, Emilio has to be like rolling over on this. Like, you should be kissing his ass and seeing if you can get one of his movies.
Right.
But Jesus, I don't know. It was such a childish thing. Let's give our ratings for it. I gave it a 1.5. I don't even know why. Sturdy gave it a 1.5 and you gave it a 1. I mean, because it was still, there were definitely some very cool choices by the people who made the documentary. Technically, that I just thought were really well done. I love the I guess it's a 16 mil. It might have been an 8 millimeter. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back and figure it out. But when they would jump to those cuts of that camera, I couldn't tell if it was actually that camera or a filter.
Right.
And it bugged me a little bit, but I did like the aesthetics of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I was cool with that. But yeah, so that's why. And Rob Lowe. And it was cool seeing a lot of the faces, but that's why. But that's where I'm at with it. But guys, you know what? It's mixed movie pick time.
Yeah.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody! As you know, we've been looking and examining movies from Black cinema over this month to celebrate Juneteenth, and that's none other, and that's no different with tomorrow actually being Juneteenth. So happy Juneteenth, everyone! We are talking about the 1961 film A Raisin in the Sun. It is a truly fantastic film if you've never seen this. One of the best acted films of all time, and it comes from the stage. Lorraine Hansberry wrote the book, wrote the play, and wrote the movie, and it was carried through. And Sidney Poitier was in it. Louis Gossett Jr. is in it. Ruby Dee's in it. There's just tons of actors, wonderful actors in this movie, telling a tale of what it was like to live as a Black American in the 60s and the things that went along with it, and the racism they saw and the hardships and stuff like that. I just think it's truly a wonderful film, and hopefully you guys could check it out. It is of course, the classic film review for tomorrow as well, so we'll have that up at midnight, so you can go check that out. But yeah. Guys, thank you for joining in. Thank you for all of you listening. Thank you for all of you watching. Thank you to my awesome co-host, producer. We love you, buddy. And then, of course, our amazing buddy who joined us tonight, Sir Sturdy. Sir Sturdy, tell them again what they have to watch with you this week.
So, tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we are kicking it off, which is Thursday. Not sure when this is dropping. But Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we are reviewing Vampire from Brooklyn, which I have not seen yet. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited to see it. And then, like I told you guys Friday, watch party at 10 o'clock over on the Discord, Scene Snobs Discord to be exact, Savage Beach. And then we're going to be reviewing that right at midnight. You guys want to tune in for that. And rest in peace to Willie Mays.
Willie Mays died?
Yep, just seen it on.
I am going to, you heard it here first, and I'm going to go grieve that. It's Jesus. I want to say thank you guys again for being here, and I thank you all for listening and watching if you are. Sorry, started to block your face, but join up on our Patreon. It now serves as our hub for being able to watch any of our links that are coming out for the week. We're going to be, now we have paid tiers and we have the free tier. So if you want to join up, just follow with the free tier. You'll get our newsletter. So you're not getting inundated with emails by us. You can just go there, check out what's going on. We'll have a rundown. We'll have the links to stuff. But if you do want to support us, it all goes back in the channel. It's a great help. We truly appreciate you. So, and there's plenty of perks to go on. There's shows over there that are exclusive to you guys. There's, you know, I do AMAs. You can have one-on-one time with me, you know, to talk about any of this stuff and more. And also, yeah, we just have some other fun stuff going on as well. You can also get merch and stuff like that. So go check it out. Patreon, that's where it is. It's linked down below if you're listening. If you're watching, it's right there, the QR code on the screen. And also join up on our Discord. That's right, Snobs Family Video Discord. That's what we're calling it now. Head on over there, join up. It's a good time. People talking, hanging out, having fun. And we sometimes show some movies on there, too. We have a really good time with it.
Savage Beach on Friday.
Savage Beach on Friday. And, of course, go check out snobsmerch.com. Again, link down below. Paul's wearing one of our established shirts. We have a lot of cool shirts and mugs and tons of other stuff. So go check it out. Really fun movie designs, not just logos and stuff like that. We have a lot of fun stuff on the site. Go check it out. But I want to say thank you again to my fellow co-hosts. And before we get going, just thank you again to our sponsor, Sticker Mule, and Paul. You have anything you want to say before we take off?
Hey guys, make sure to keep watching, keep listening, and keep loving the magic of movies. And also with Juneteenth, you know, let's all be a part of the progression of our nation. You know, everyone needs to do their part. Be accountable, even if no one's watching, and do the best you can.
Yeah, that is wonderful words, and all I'm going to add to them is thank you guys for watching. We love movies, and we know you do too, so make sure you join up with us on the Snob Nation, hang out, talk about them, just like you were hanging out at the video store with your friends back in the day. It's going to be a really good time. So until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs, producer Paul, Sir Sturdy here, and we're having a good time. Join us next week for an all-new episode and more on the Scene Snobs channel. Thank you again. Remember to be kind, stay classy, and take care of yourselves because that's important. Good night.
Peace.